So, if Shakur Stevenson beats Teofimo Lopez, does that mean Shakur Stevenson is pound for pound number one? Now, in my opinion, there's a good argument to make that he is, or he would be, but I don't think he'd quite be there yet, and I'm going to explain why. So, Shakur Stevenson, of course, if you don't know, undefeated multi-weight world champion, currently, believe the WBC lightweight world champion, just beat William Zepeda, who was WBC interim lightweight champion, and previously before that was champion at 126 and 130, now 135. If he was to fight Teofimo Lopez, it'd be at 140, and it would be for the Ring Magazine belt as well. Now, if Shakur was to beat Teofimo Lopez, he'd be an undefeated 4-weight world champion. But I think nowadays in boxing, and it's crazy to say, but just being a 4-weight world champion isn't enough. How insane is that? But that's not enough. Because when you're in the same generation as an Inoue, who cleans out divisions, and an Usyk, who's cleaned out the heavyweight division, cleaned out the cruiserweight, cleaned out heavyweight, Shakur's not cleaned out any weight division. Granted, I'll say 126 and 130 weren't abundant with talent. They weren't. Oh, and big names too. But 135 is. And he's not fought any of the top contenders at 135. He's not fought Abdullah Mason. He's not fought Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield. He's not fought Andy Cruz. I guess he's not ever going to fight Keyshawn Davis, which is a shame. But those are just three names there. Not fight Gervonta Davis, but that's Gervonta's own prerogative. But I've named those three names, right? If Shakur was to beat all three of those guys, you could be like, yeah, he's cleaned out lightweight, right? And then if he was to do that and then fight Teofimo, then you'd be like, okay, damn, if he was champion at 126, champion at 130, cleaned out lightweight, and is now fighting at 140 for the ring belt, you'd be like, yeah, if he wins this, he's pound for pound number one. But you don't win your belt, defend it against Josh Padley, and then defend it against William Zepeda, and you're like, yeah, I'm done on 135. No, there's still plenty for you to do, bro. Still plenty for you to do. And Shakur can do it. And again, it's almost like the Floyd thing where, like, it's a shame that Floyd couldn't fight more guys in their primes, because I think Floyd would actually beat them as well. And it's just a shame we never got to see that. And I hope that's not the case with Shakur Stevenson. I hope he beats Teofimo Lopez, if I'm being honest. I hope he beats Teo, goes back down to 135, and does his thing there, and eventually fights Andy Cruz. Because for me, Shakur v Andy Cruz, that is the fight for the lightweight division, the number one fight. Because those guys, in my opinion, are by far the two best boxers in the division, by far. Keyshawn Davis was in that conversation too, but Keyshawn Davis is no longer going to be fighting on 135, so I don't include him in these conversations anymore. And then for Shakur, also, if he's like, okay, he's moved up to 140 now, he doesn't want to go back down, he wants to stay at 140, then he beats Teofimo Lopez, who, in my opinion, I know he's the Ring Magazine champion, but I don't know if Teofimo's the number one guy at 140. Because I see Sabro Matias, who's a big puncher, but has been beaten before. But I see Richardson Hitchens. What a boxer he is. Similar to Shakur, who he's technically very talented. I believe they're both signed to Matchroom. I believe they're both signed to Matchroom. Either way, they'll be signed to Turkey. So, do you know what I mean? Whatever Turkey wants to do, right? But yeah, we'll see. Because if you can fight Richardson Hitchens, then you're like, okay, damn. Like, okay, let's say this. Let's say this for hypothetical. Shakur fights Teofimo at 140, beats him, then goes back down to 135, and is between 135 and 140, and, maybe he fights a Abdullah Mason, beats him, then he fights a Richardson Hitchens, beats him, then he fights Andy Cruz, beats him, then you're like, damn, this guy really is probably one of the best of all time at that point. If he could, it's a tall task. I don't think anyone's really been able to do that, sort of manage two weight classes and go backwards and forwards, but Shakur's good enough. Will he be big enough? That's the question. He's a good enough boxer to do that, definitely. But will he be big enough to do that? Because once you get into 140, these guys are big guys. And then you look a bit further down at 140, you see Gary Antoine Russell. Yeah, I don't want to see no boxer I like, I want to see him fight Gary Antoine Russell. This guy is such a powerful puncher for these weight divisions. So is Bro Matias, to be fair. Antoine Russell v Matias would be a dream fight in a lot of ways. But yeah, I don't think, overall point is, I don't think it would be enough for Shakur Stevenson to just beat Teofimo Lopez and then become pound for pound number one. And I know I'm saying just beat Teofimo Lopez, like anyone can do that. It's a very difficult thing to do. Only one other boxer's ever done that. And Teofimo more than got his lick back for that one. But yeah. As much as I love Shakur, as much as I think he's a great boxer, as much as I think he's a good enough boxer to become pound for pound number one, I don't think that'll do it for me. But he's capable of doing it, and no doubt at some point in his career he will reach that level. But yeah, be super curious to know what you guys think. Do you think if Shakur beats Teofimo Lopez, that is good enough to make him pound for pound number one? Or do you think he still needs to do more in his boxing career? Be curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.